So now can I request MS Sumitha Kishna, advocate and solicitor from Malaysia. Uh, Forum is yours, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you to the organizers as well as to the moderator for the opportunity to share my thoughts on this topic. I've been working with many foreign missions in Malaysia since 2008, especially on migrant worker issues, especially on specifically on immigration, labor, and criminal cases. So my relationship with the foreign missions are not new. Let me start by saying that the role of the missions became amplified during the COVID period because it was a period of uncertainty, especially when foreign nationals were forced to stay in a foreign country separated from their families back home. So it was inevitable for foreign nationals to turn to their missions for assistance. So I must point out that missions in Malaysia during the COVID time uh, did a lot of programs, and I would like to like to point out a few things that they did during the COVID lockdown in Malaysia. So I would like to put on record that many migrant sending country missions here in Malaysia provided the necessary assistance to their nationals. Example, when the Malaysian government didn't provide food aid to foreign nationals during the lockdown, there were missions who took on that responsibility and also worked with civil society organizations, mine included, to provide food aid. This was not something that the missions usually do, but good to say that they learned fast and they did well. Secondly, the missions also provided the necessary information on their websites and Facebook pages to their nationals on updates on travels, visa and passport renewals, translation of host government circulars. Thirdly, we also saw missions coordinating flights for their nationals to fly back home. Although I must say that some of the charges of the flights were exorbitant, a cost that many migrants could not afford. Fourthly, consular assistance were also provided in a systematic manner. Example, for those who needed to renew their passports after the lockdowns were lifted. As what William pointed out, the lack of monetary and human resources are a problem for many Asian missions. But this is something that the government must look into urgently, especially in countries that host large number of migrants. Um, I would like to also share some instances that I felt the missions could have done better and could have been more proactive. Example, when foreign nationals in Malaysia were arrested during the lockdown period and they were exposed to the virus in detention, or when the migrants were detained in detention for a prolonged time because of inadequate flights, unclear procedures, or the unwillingness of missions to pay for the flights or to coordinate the flights. These are some of the crucial times that we expect, and the foreign nationals also expect, the migrants expect the support of the mission to speak up for them. This didn't happen at all in the instances in Malaysia, or instances where the migrants lost their jobs when the companies shut down, or when the host government revoked approvals for migrants to work in a migrant dominant sector, which also left a lot of documented migrants unemployed, or when migrants are hounded by enforcement. Yeah, these are times when we need the missions to stand up, take a stand, dialogue with the host government. Even if you can't publicize the same, you must do this. For me, the mission's primary responsibility should be towards their nationals in the host country, then to the host government. Yeah. And in my concluding remarks, I must say that the missions must have dialogues and work together with all stakeholders, including civil society organizations, migrant communities, diaspora groups in the host country, on how we can move forward post-COVID, and also to ensure that the rights and protection of vulnerable populations like migrant workers, undocumented migrants, domestic workers, foreign spouses, and their children are looked after. This is my concluding remarks. Thank you, sir.
Well, thank you, Sumitha. I think you have again made some very, very interesting points, and from a different point of view altogether. Missions have to be active on the social media and civil society institutions do come forward if a proper dialogue is initiated. Very interesting points. We'll again come back to you.